Do you want to know the secret to setting family rules? Well, I've got it for you. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all about parenting and family communication, as well as relationship development through the lens of self-government. This is what we're talking about today. Rules are important, and you'll know how to set great ones for your family by the end of this. In this video, we're going to be talking about the difference between rules and principles and why you need to know the difference so that you can set great family rules for your family. But also, we're going to talk about some of the rules that you really need to consider to make sure that your family has the greatest success. House rules are really valuable. In fact, if we don't have house rules, people absolutely do not know what to expect in a home environment. It actually increases anxiety in children and parents to not have rules clearly established. For years, I did treatment foster care for troubled teens. They were all between the ages of 12 and 18, and the day one, when they would enter our home, we would take time to talk to them about the house rules that we had. Now, this didn't mean that we were just sharing things like wake up is this time, be sure to make your bed, put things away that you get out, and stuff like that. But we were talking about things that were even more basic and more vital to making sure that our house would run smoothly. Things like principles of self-government. And we have certain skills that actually teach these principles of self-government that are the basis of our house rules. In 2009, the BBC made a documentary of my family called The World's Strictest Parents. And in this documentary, they brought us two troubled teens. They were both ages 17 from England to stay for 8 days. When you watch this video, which you can see on my website, which is teachingselfgovernment.com, you will see that there is this moment where we sit down right when they get to our house and we go over the family rules. In fact, you will also see that James and Hannah, the two teens that came to our home for the filming, didn't necessarily like or agree with all of our rules. But what you'll also see is at the end of the program, both James and Hannah were crying because they didn't want to leave our house. In fact, both of them came to us and said, "Please don't make us go. We feel so safe here. Please don't make us go." So in the end, they wanted to stay in the environment with the rules. They felt safety there. In fact, they never wanted to leave. Sadly, we did have to send them back home to their parents, but I think that experience changed their lives forever. I know that it definitely changed our lives forever. So let's talk about the principles that we shared with James and Hannah that you're going to want to be sure and share with your family. Before I get to the principles of self-government that you are going to want to be sure to take notes on, click the subscribe button. You're not going to want to miss all the great content on this channel, and if you click that notification bell as well, you'll get notified in your feed when a new video comes out. I'm pretty sure you're not going to want to miss out. Click the bell now. Rules and principles are different from each other. In fact, rules are usually based upon principles. So principles are more foundational and definitely more steady. Principles are eternal, so they are forever in their nature, which means that they are unchanging. If you have a principle that applies to one situation, it's going to apply to every situation. So that's how you know that it's a principle. They're also founded upon truth, and usually they just ring true to everybody when they hear them. Now, a rule is different. A rule is sometimes how you apply a principle in a certain situation, but also rules can just be made arbitrarily. Think how often laws change just because one person has a grievance and goes to talk to a senator about it. This happens all the time. Is that rule necessarily a principle? The answer is no. Well, in our family, we wanted all of the rules that we made for our family to be based upon principles. So we thought that starting with principles as our basic skills would be the very best foundation for any other rules that we needed to add to them. So we have some principles that are skills. The 4 basic skills are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. And each of these 4 basic skills has a skill set attached to it. For instance, when a person is able to accept a no answer, they look at the person or situation, they keep a calm face, voice, and body, body. They say okay, or they ask to disagree appropriately, and then they drop the subject. So is it a principle that a person is helped by dropping the subject? The answer is yes. If they hold on to things in their head forever, it eats them up. Is it a principle that if a person wants to, they should choose to be able to be calm, keeping a calm face, voice, and body at any time? Yes, our children can make choices. All 4 of these steps that are part of the principle of accepting a no answer are all principles in themselves. So when a person chooses to accept a no answer, this prepares them to honor boundary lines, to respect other people, and to be able to choose to be okay when things don't go their way. This empowers them. It helps them use their choice in powerful ways. After we taught all the children that have ever come to our home, as well as our own children, the 4 basic skills, then we were ready for other rules that we could use to build upon these 4 basic skills. So whenever our child breaks some sort of rule in the family, usually we are going to be doing a correction for one of those 4 basic skills that I mentioned, because all of the rules that we have in our family relate to one of those 4 basic skills. We decided that we wanted to have some set rules for important things so that our family would all be on the same page with our virtues, our morals, and the way that we were going to live our lives. We didn't want to have to battle over certain things like clothing standards, word usage, substances that we would take into our body and not, rules regarding digital devices, stuff like that. So we created something called a family standard. Our family standard is basically a list of rules that our family has related to all of those things I just mentioned, plus many more. How did we create the family standard? Well, we had a family meeting with our family and we said, okay, what types of standards do you think our family should have? Give us input. So the children gave input, but that didn't mean we were going to necessarily use their family standards, because what if they said something that didn't match one of our principles? Well, then it wasn't going to happen, right? So anyway, we took those things into consideration, and then me and my husband had a special meeting where we scripted this standard. We made a plan for all the rules related to grooming and hygiene, health and mannerisms, as well as things we would watch and listen to and read, and our social conduct and all of those kinds of things. And then we listed them out. Then we had another family meeting where we presented it to our family. At that point, we needed to go around the home and get rid of all of the things in our home that did not match that family standard. We did this purposely so that we would be prepared for bringing other children into our home, because for years we did treatment foster care, and we wanted to have something written up that we could give them on the first day so that they would know all of the rules right after they learned the basic principles of self-government, roles, and those 4 basic skills. If you want your family to be more successful, then you need to make sure that your family is prepared to live the principles and rules that you want to live by. If you're adding them in bit by bit, that's okay, it's pretty good, but it's way better if you lay them out way ahead of time. If my child comes to me and says, "Mom, can I color my hair this color?" I'm automatically going to prepare the child to accept a no answer, because on our family standard, it already says that our children would not dye their hair unnatural colors. Now, some people may think that's a little extreme, but that's just what we decided as a Peck family would be one of our standards. You can decide your standards all on your own, but the important thing is that you do. Then the children usually don't even ever come to ask, because they automatically know the answer is going to be a no answer, and they need to be prepared to accept the no answer when it occurs. So if you want your family to be the most successful, they absolutely need to learn those 4 basic skills, and you need to lay everything out for them, maybe even in a document that they could sign so that everybody's on the same page. This decreases all kinds of stress and communication about standards and the differences of standards and when we'll watch TV and when we won't, all those kinds of things that might be coming down the road. If you would like to know more information about teaching the 4 basic skills, especially since we've only talked about one of the basic skills today, which is accepting the no answers, then I invite you to watch my next video, which is 4 skills to transform your parenting. In that video, you'll learn about all of the 4 basic skills and how you can teach them in your home.